Hey, how y'all doing today? Welcome to the Quarter Report, brought to you by the Red Knight Special. And this is Word on the Net. I'm your boy Nut. I ain't gonna hold you, man. We gonna get off into it. And first things first, man. The truth should never be considered disrespect. You did. Now let's get to it, man. Now we had this officer, right? He in here talking, and he's speaking on how he feel about, people who are unalive people and SA offenders. And truth be told, I kind of agree with him. With the SA offenders, not so much with the unalivement of people, because people have different reasons why they do. I'm not saying to do it is right. I just believe in an eye for an eye. So before I go any further, I want y'all to do me a favor, man. Hit that like and subscribe button, man. If you like the content, man, I've been dropping. And at the end of the content, watch it to the end and tell me what you think. And if you like what you see, man, hit that like button. And if you don't, man, just hit the like button, man. Hit the subscribe button, man. Let's get this thing up to the algorithm. Anyway, let's go. Let's jump off into this good content right here, man. It's your boy Nut, and I ain't gonna hold you no more.
For that man.
Zero.
Death penalty. How do you feel about the death penalty?
Well, I like the death penalty. We should have, instead of an electric chair, we should have an electric bench. So we can put them all on the bench together and, light them up all at once.
You're not joking.
No, I'm not. Not at all.
Tell me why.
Well, because the only people that get the death penalty are cold-blooded, first-degree murderers. They're vile, they're nasty, they're dangerous. And as a result, we need to give them a fair trial. We need to give them the appellate process, because I believe in our criminal justice system. So once you've had your trial, and once you've had your first appeal, your second appeal, heck, give them 3 appeals. Then we need to light them up or shoot the juice to them, whichever way the state wants it. But at that point in time, understand, this is not a couple of drunks that got in a fight and one shot the other at a bar. Okay? Both of them were involved in an event. This is somebody who premeditated a murder of an innocent person who had every right.
Now, I agree with him with that. Let me break something down to y'all, right? When you have a beef with someone and y'all can't talk it out or hash it out or whatever the case is, then it's like, you got to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's either him or me. So you got to make a decision. So I don't think in that kind of situation, because y'all don't. The thing about California is, and I'm only speaking for California when I say this, that we don't have no stand your ground law out here. So, you can get put in a trick bag quick. But at the end of the day, if you run around here just picking random people to unalive for whatever reason, just random people, period. Yeah, of course you should. You should get unalive just as easy as you unalive somebody else.
To walk the face of the earth till they grew very old and died.
How do you think a child predator, a 40-year-old man, sexually abusing a 10-year-old girl or a 10-year-old boy, what do you see? Do you see death penalty for them as well?
Oh, absolutely. That's more horrific than murder in my estimation, because
Is that the highest for you?
well, you cannot by law. Well, we just instituted capital punishment.
Let me say this, and I agree with him again. And I know a lot of y'all gonna be like, huh? Yeah, I agree with him, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like people who SA kids, little boys, little girls, old people, handicapped people, anything like that, if you do any of them natures, you should be put down, because that's a disease, that's a sickness that's in you. And that ain't something that you can get fixed. That ain't something you can just go to a few counseling classes and you straight now. You don't. No, that's something it's a fire that burned deep within you to make you people. You a sick person to look at a baby, a 2-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, however old they is, if they under the age and you an adult, and you look at them and you get on a rise out of that and you feel like you should pursue that. You a sick person and you need to be put down. Just like when a dog have rabies or animal have rabies, and they say you got to put that animal down because they got rabies. Yes, you have rabies. You need to be put down.
Punishment for sexual battery. In
Man, y'all go ahead and tap in at that Cyrus for Life, man. Y'all go ahead and subscribe to the channel, man. Hit that like button for me.
Florida, I have every confidence the United States Supreme Court's going to strike that down. They already have. They shouldn't, but they will. I just believe that. But at the end of the day, I am more mortified by someone that would physically torture and abuse and sexually batter a child than I am someone that gets in a fight with a guy at a bar and shoots him.
Right, and I agree with that because I really feel like, truth be told, that in places like California, New York, Chicago, New Jersey, Atlanta, Texas, all of these states that got these big gang activities and all this bad culture, we all should be able to bear arms, and we all should be able to have stand your ground law. You dig what I'm saying? But anyways, I just feel that way, man. I just feel like we should be able to do that because we got citizens that can't even protect themselves from criminals. You feel me? And then when a citizen go to protect themselves, it's always they're gonna find some kind of way to put you in a trick bag to get you locked up for protecting yourself.
How many death penalties have you been a part of?
Oh, I don't know. Several. I mean, you lose count after a while.
More than 10?
I don't. Yes, in some command capacity, yes.
And have you been there watching it happen or no?
Oh, I've gone to see one.
And how was that experience?
Well, it was anticlimactic. It was after they used the chemical drip, and I can describe that to you. First, if we have time, I'll tell you the story. There was a guy by the name of Eddie Wayne Davis, and
Now the guy he for speak on, Eddie Wayne Davis, right? I got a clip that, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna show y'all about him too and why I understand. Like me, when I heard about what he did, it just disgusted me, man. Like it just disgusted me to know that we live amongst these kind of people. And I know some people will say, well, that's what they've been feeling like that about black people anyway, that they hate living amongst us. You know what I'm saying? Not the angry black man. They've been feeling like that. You dig what I'm saying? But I'm saying this dude wasn't. He wasn't black. He was a white guy, and he heard it, and he did this offense to a white girl, Caucasian girl. You did, and it had me hot, mad, man. Cause I'm like, what kind of animal do these kind of things? But let's get back to the content.
I don't remember names well, as you can tell, but Eddie Wayne Davis attacked a beautiful little girl, Kimberly Waters, who was 12 years old.
Rest in peace,
He sexually abused her. He threw her into a dumpster and covered her up with trash. Well, we started that investigation. First, it was Kimberly was a missing persons, and then a friend of mine who's now the police chief in Auburndale was one of my deputies at the time, found her in this dumpster. So the investigation began, and we had been working around the clock. Well, we pretty quickly focused in on Eddie Wayne Davis. We had to have evidence. I created a relationship with him, a friendly relationship with him, because we suspected him, and we would need to talk to him.
How'd you do that?
Well, because I did it by asking him, hey, because we were searching his house and we obtained blood evidence, but we didn't have any of that back at the lab. So I offered, hey, are you hungry? Would you like cigarettes to smoke? I just treated him nice.
This is after you know he did it, or this is when you're speculating that he did it?
Speculating.
Okay, got it.
So,
and by the way, just
I knew he did it, but we didn't have the evidence to arrest him.
Are you 100% or 80, 90% you know he did
I'm
it?
100%.
What caused you to be
Now, my thing is this, right? I like this guy right here for PBD podcast. You feel me? I like them. Y'all go tap into PBD podcast and man, go check them out, man, because they be touching on real topics, right? And I like the way he questioned, but that's cops' jobs is to play cool with you. What they do is they peep your energy, what kind of person you is, how you articulate yourself to them, and that's how they go off, how they gonna treat you. You come off like you some tough a street guy, gangster type of dude, then they gonna come at you like that. But if you come like, oh, some old scary, confused, mental state person that's mentally messed up, they ain't gonna come at you like that. So that's why I get why he's saying I was being nice to him and all this sort of stuff.
Be 100%.
Because I've done this a long time.
Oh, okay, got it.
And I saw the way the event went, and I saw his body language. You don't just speak with your mouth; you speak with your body language. So anyway, so we made sure he was comfortable, and we treated him like a gentleman, and we created this relationship. The law said once you lawyer up, the only way you can take a confession from someone without their lawyer is for them to reinitiate the investigation or the interview or want to talk to you. So anyway, so it comes time to for the formal interview when we have enough probable cause to arrest him. We still don't have the lab back on the blood, but he lawyered up, and we put him in the holding cell while we're preparing the affidavit, my detectives.
Mm-hmm.
I walked back and forth in the hallway, hoping he would look out of that cell. And he did. And he looked at me and said, "Mr. Grudd," didn't know my name was Judd, "Mr. Grudd, come here." And I walked over to the cell door and I said, "Eddie, you've asked for an attorney. I'm not allowed to talk to you anymore according to law. The only way I can talk to you is for you to reinstitute, to begin the conversation, to ask me to talk to you. Other than that, I can't talk to you till you talk to your attorney." I turned and started to walk out, and he said, "Please come back. I want to talk to you." I sat in that cell with him while he sobbed, and I wiped his nose and patted him on the back while he confessed to the rape and murder of that 12-year-old girl.
Are you kidding me?
I had to watch him die as a result of that. That was one of the most horrific things that I've ever seen, and there are details that are shockingly horrific that I'm not going to share out of respect for Kimberly, the baby that was murdered. I went up there that day. They had a saline PICC line in his arm when they opened the curtains. They asked him if he had any last comments to make, and he shook his head no. And then they put there was 2 drips in there, 2 different combinations. One was to render him unconscious.
What do you say in a situation like that? If like I want to ask you, like, if you was on the death row and you was it was your day for you to go, what would you say to these people that's about to take your life? There's nothing to say. As long as you made your peace, made your bed, and you made your bed, you gotta lay in. But as long as you made your peace with your higher power, if you believe in that at that point, I don't know. But I think that's all, you know what I'm saying, that need to. I think you telling a bunch of people, I'm sorry for what I did and this and this and that is not gonna help or stop the you know what I'm saying, the execution of what's going on with you. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion, though.
And the other was to stop his heart. And it was a very peaceful passing. And here's how I equate it. If you've ever had a surgical procedure and you're laying there and they have the saline drip and the anesthesiologist or the anesthetist says, "Okay, now count backward from 10 and you get to about 7 and you go to sleep." That's what it was like. It was anticlimactic. And your inner soul says, "I wish he'd have suffered some."
Really?
But your faith in God says it is the way it should have been.
Does it cause you to want to go find out how does a person get to something like?
Now, did you just pay attention to the words wisely? He said, "Some parts of me wanted him to suffer, but his inner peace in him told him it is what it is." No, your inner peace didn't tell you that. What happened was you couldn't do what you wanted to do because of the situation that was going on. You couldn't beat him. You wanted to beat on him. A lot of you officers be wanting to do dirt to people and really hurt them. And I get it, but you got to still stay professional. And whatever you know what I'm saying, a road that that person is headed on, and whatever ahead for him in life, that's his life. Your job ain't to see, the police don't understand. Your job is not to be judgmental. Your job is to do your job. That's it. If a person is doing something, he's trying to get away from you do what you got to do to detain him, and then you take him to the police station. Like, you don't go and take him, park him somewhere, and all your officers beat him up and stomp him out and do all that. That's not. And then y'all then y'all don't understand why these kids out here acting the way they act or starting. And I'm not giving them an excuse for doing it, because I don't think it's right for nobody that don't deserve to get handled a certain way shouldn't be touched. You do what I'm saying? If y'all get what I'm saying, I feel like at the end of the day, people is just gonna be people. You dig what I'm saying? People are just gonna be people, man. There's nothing we can do about it. We're living in times where everything is just crazy right now. But anyway, let's get back to the content.
Like this, I brought a guy on a podcast a few years ago, and he was from Britain. And what he did is, his job was to interview people after they killed somebody, to sit down with them and find out if they did it or not. And he's just sizing up the body language and all this stuff. And he told me a lot of these stories, what he did. And I said, what causes somebody to get to a person to do something like this? And the way he broke it down was so interesting. He says something about the way you're born is why you pull the trigger, or life experiences is what gets you to think about pulling the trigger, and then your parenting upbringing. He's given me this breakdown how it is. Having been around all these people, like, where do you go to say what causes a guy like this? I think he died at 45. I just looked him up right now to see, he was born September 12, 68. He died July 10th of 2014. So this is just 10 years ago. This is your 10-year anniversary of going through Eddie Wayne Davis. Did you come home at night, you're talking to your wife. Do you ever go and say, the hell made this guy do this? Was it his father? Like, do you want to go meet their parents, their mom, their dad, to see what caused?
Let's see if he's gonna keep it real, because we all know that police are not supposed to talk about their cases at home. He said, when you go home to your wife, what do you say? Let's see what his response is.
As a person to flip like this, and can we do anything for future Eddie Wayne Davis to not do it
Sure.
again?
First and foremost, these people, psychopaths or sociopaths, they have no conscience.
They're born that way, you're saying.
The overwhelming majority of the people on death row are sociopaths and psychopaths. It's not just an emotional thing. I hear, and I call them the liberal do-gooders. Oh, well, we shouldn't send him to jail for so long, or we shouldn't send him to the electric jail because he's mentally ill. Well, of course he's mentally ill. Normal people don't murder people. Of course, there's something wrong with all of them. But
I wouldn't agree with that, because I think everyone on this earth is capable of unaliving somebody if the situation presents themselves. You dig what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? If you're trying to protect yourself, or somebody hurt your family member, I say, for instance, people who ain't never did nothing to nobody, let they kid. See, this is this man right here, and I respect what he's saying, and I kind of agree with him with a lot of things he's saying. But this is a person that lived in the county he lived in, and he got the mentality he got. We're not living back in the days, man. And the problem with the world is, instead of getting help for these people, mental help, they put them in a cage. And when you put an animal in a cage amongst a bunch of other animals that's in there, what do you think they do? They turn into an even crazier animal. So you're not helping these mental patients, or these people that need mental help, by sticking them in a cage. Y'all need to focus on another solution, because obviously that's not working. All it's doing is helping y'all get richer by building more penitentiaries. And it's crazy how, like, I was watching something and it said, it's crazy how to go be a barber, you got to go to school for 2 years to be a barber. But to be a police officer, you only got to go to school. You only got to go to school for 6 months. Training for 6 months to be a police officer, so you don't get no constitutional training. How can y'all hire? That's what I'm saying. I feel like police. Anyway, that's another story for another time. Let's get back to the content.
But the reality is, after I watched Eddie Wayne Davis die that evening, as a result of the state of Florida saying this is the penalty you pay for raping and murdering this beautiful 12-year-old child, I went home and slept peacefully all night long.
Why?
I saw justice done.
Did you make a phone call to the parents? Did you speak to the parents?
We had communications with the parents. Some of the relatives came to watch the execution as well. So the bottom line to this is we have the best country in the world. The United States of America is the best. The people overwhelmingly in this country are awesome people. There are a few troublemakers. There are a few deviants. And that's who we deal with, is the deviants and the troublemakers. Otherwise, we're doing public service and helping people.
Well, I mean, you went home and you slept. Did you go home, sit up for 2 hours?
Now, with him saying what he just said, right? No, you don't. You deal with all walks of life. And this is the crazy part. Y'all look at people and point at who y'all feel like is deviants, who y'all feel like is the underworld. Like, if you born into a life, see, let me explain something to you people that might be listening, right? We don't get to pick the family we born into. We don't get to pick, like most of you people are born into legacies and dynasties and family that got money because of their family had money and their family had money. So it get passed down. When you grow up, when you come from the hood, the ghetto, you grow up and you don't have family members that got that. Especially through certain years when crack came in and messed families up that y'all pushed on our people. So now y'all want to act like, oh, them people was crazy over there, man. Y'all pushed the drugs on us and then y'all want to tell us we crazy. You want to make us crazy and then have an excuse to do what you want to do to us, man. That's why I peeped the game and I checked the play and I stepped up out the way. You did? Because I see what's going on. I'm not trying to catch no football numbers. I'm not finna keep throwing rocks at the penitentiary and they ain't getting nowhere.
I was talking to your wife and all. Nothing.
Oh, no, not at all.
Did you even bring it up to your wife? You're like,
No, we didn't talk.
Are you?
She knew I was going to watch that.
See, I was waiting to see what he was going to say. When he said he talked to his wife, he said, nope, not at all. Because he ain't supposed to talk about his work. And I'm glad. I think he's smart enough to know that. But I really feel like at some point as an officer, no matter what your crime is, you be frustrated. You see cases that you hate. And I feel like you come home and your wife wonder why you mad and you can't talk to her sometimes. I'm pretty sure you done said some things.
That she was a judicial assistant to a circuit judge and was an administrative assistant at the state attorney's office, and then for a very prominent judge. I mean, for a very prominent defense attorney. So, it's just business. We go home and we talk about fun stuff like kids and t-ball and let's go take a swim in the pool before we go to bed tonight. We don't.
Cap.
The other stuff's business.
You guys definitely don't Netflix and chill, though. You don't seem like you're a movie guy.
No.
Yeah, it's not you. So the guy I interviewed, his name is Jim Clemente. He was a former FBI guy.
Right.
Worked for FBI for 22 years, if you can pull it up, where he was an expert on child sexual abuse, victimization, abduction, and homicide. Yes. Okay. And he was an expert in criminal behavior profiling. When I asked him the nature that produces serial killers, here's what he said. Genetics loads the gun. Personality and psychology aims the gun. Experiences in your life pulls the trigger. Do you agree with that?
Part of it.
Which part do you not?
Well, first off, those folks are sociopaths. So put that off to genetics or psychology or whatever. But I don't believe that anyone is just a product of their environment. I think there is personality disorders. I think there's anger management issues. But these folks are angry and bitter, and most all of them that do first-degree murders are sociopaths and psychopaths. And by the way, we don't have as many serial murderers. At least we don't see them as much as we used to. Do you know why? We have more technology. We have DNA. We catch them quicker.
In these uncertain times, if there's anything we need, is we need people to believe.
A Lakeland girl brutally raped and murdered more than 20 years ago here in Tampa Bay. Orion Ray.
Now this is the guy that he was just talking about when he was saying about the guy who he watched get executed. So let's get to this.
With relatives about this feeling they've waited so long for as they watched Eddie Davis's execution tonight.
Today at 6:43, Eddie Davis's heart stopped beating after a series of injections here at the Florida State Prison behind me. This day comes 20 years after a Lakeland family buried their 11-year-old girl who Davis violently raped and murdered.
20 years, 4 months, 6 days, and we finally have justice.
The emotional wait for the family of Kimberly Waters now over. Although they counted down to this day, some could not even bear to watch the execution of Eddie Davis.
I don't need to see it done. I just need to know that it's done. Just need to know that it's over.
Mickey Hobbs feeling relieved, knowing the man who brutally raped and murdered her granddaughter is now dead. More than 20 years ago, Sheriff Grady Judd was the major in charge of this case and has never forgotten this little girl. He made the 3-hour trip up to witness her killer's execution.
He earned it, he deserved it, and today he got justice.
Lieutenant Terry Story was the young deputy who found Kimberly's body 20 years ago and almost left law enforcement after the gruesome discovery.
I stayed, and I stayed to see this to an end.
He says he can now happily retire. Witnesses tell us the execution went as planned. When asked if he had any final words, Davis replied, "No, sir," and appeared to start praying. This is the 67th execution reporter John Koch has witnessed.
And initially, you could see him fall asleep. He would yawn, the mouth would open and then close, and then you would see the deep breaths shortness and getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and then finally stopping.
A huge weight lifted off this family's shoulders.
I do feel much better, thank you.
A total of 4 members of the victim's family witnessed today's execution. Kimberly's close sister, Crystal, decided to stay back in Lakeland at her sister's gravesite. Reporting in Rayford, Ryan Raish, ABC Action News.
Yeah, so yeah, man, that was crazy, man. Like that story right there. But I just wanted to tap in with y'all, man. Let y'all see this content and get tell me what y'all think, man. Like get some feedback on this, man. Like, do you think he was right for feeling the way he feel? I think he was, personally. I think he have it's people that do senseless acts of crimes. And one thing about me is that's why I feel like we need to police our own neighborhood. So when we got people in our neighborhood that's doing senseless crimes to people, just doing wrong things, you know what I'm saying? Then we should handle it and handle it like the way we know how to handle it in the hood. You feel me? But, other than that, man, I believe that eye for an eye is real. I don't think that, I don't believe in that slap one cheek and you turn the other side of your face unless somebody slap the other side. I don't believe in that. I think that was a way to try to calm people down for whatever reason. You did. Anyway, I wish y'all a wonderful, blessed day. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment. You know what I'm saying? If you like the content. And yeah, man, may God keep blessing you. Like I always say, if you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, I'm gonna give you some game. Get back in the bed, roll over, and get out on the right side of the bed. God bless you all.